Hi, today I'd like to talk about meditation and what we do in Aikido and why perhaps in the old days 90% of the Aikidoka when I was training is not interested at all. I don't know about the modern Aikidoka, but most of you will switch off once I start talking. So I'm going to keep this video very short. I was reading an article on Facebook about Nishio Sensei and how repeatedly these old masters, as brilliant as they were, they used to say that nobody understood a sensei. It was as if he was talking to the gods, and he never made sense to them, so they didn't understand it, and they just copied his Aikido. This appears to be what the world has done. That's what I've done, and I've put today in this shop this bunch of flowers behind me, and I'd like to make a point about you focusing on the flowers. Now, you might not be interested in flowers, but the variety of flowers makes it interesting. Yes, you could have just one species of flower, and that would also be very nice to look at. But to me, in my first stages, Aikido was so exciting that I'd be happy with one, let's say a rose. There's a rose in there somewhere, pink one. And this keeps us going. The amazing thing about Aikido is it has all these facets that really just inspire us, and they keep pushing buttons. But we don't seem to be interested in looking at the deeper part of the art. The thing about, Sensei, nobody could understand him. I've followed quite a lot of teachers, and I don't normally mention names. But when I was in America in the mid-80s, I went to a seminar and there was several teachers, Frank Duran, Bob Nadeau, Bruce Klickstein, Juan Nguyen's, Kayla Fader, Pat Hendricks, all these great senseis. And I should be saying Sensei Hendricks, Sensei Nguyen's and that. Okay, so please forgive me for that part. But, when you're in that era, they become your friends and you just call them by name, except for on the mat, or if you're with students, you always use the word sensei, as I'm sure you know. Right, so I'm going to make a much detailed and longer film on my Patreon site, because I think us older Aikidoka, especially the Westerners, we've got a lot of knowledge. We've watched the Japanese, we've been taught by the Japanese, but they don't tell you a lot of depth about how they actually think, what they're like as human beings. What we just absorb their Aikido techniques and either want to be like them or take something away that they've got on offer. But I'm an individual, the same as you are listening to me, and I want you to learn about, like, the flowers here. I don't want you to learn about flowers, I want you to learn about there's far more that makes us, the human being, work. And therefore, Koji Toei, he said Aikido in daily life. Now, you don't go along the road using techniques on everybody you come to meet, but by enjoying Aikido as you get older, you perhaps become a better person. You might start helping people. You might start looking towards how you can better the life of others. You might start enjoying flowers, gardening. You might start doing art, photography. Your hobbies may expand to other things outside of not just a good shianagi, a good kenka, a good joski, a good kata. So I've decided that I want to give my depth of knowledge, but more about, I'm a very traditional Aikidoka, as most of you would know, and I believe in a strong technical form that will work as a martial art, and it will work on the street if you have to use it. But I also want to talk about our telepathic abilities, the depth of the psychic mind. You don't have to believe in God or the afterlife, but we have two sides to us. We don't like to often look at the other side. I don't know why. Are we frightened it will tell us something we don't want to hear? Perhaps it will. But I want to go into the meditative depths, and what I've done different, I may have said on another video, what I've done different is I watch these teachers who throw without touching. We saw a sensei doing it on lots of films as he got older. A lot of people said, oh, the Ukis respected him and they just fell down for him. Well, what I've done is I looked at that and I thought with my own intelligent mind, perhaps they're true, perhaps they respected him, he was old, perhaps he couldn't do it, but they wanted to make him still look good, respect him. Then the more modern teachers, I know that in the Hombu Dojo there's a teacher who throws people without touching. So what I done was I tried in different dojos around the world how I could pick somebody and try it, and it worked every time on them. It won't work in an MAA ring, and it won't work doing crab, Brazilian jiu-jitsu and that. But what it will do is it will work on the tatami, but you have to focus your mind and telepathically plug in. You look around the class, you never met any of them before, but you look around the class, all of a sudden something in your mind tells you that person will be receptive to your mind power. If you haven't switched off already and think that I need to see a mind doctor, bear with me. Once you connect that, there's something that will tell you, but your inner self and your outer self, even though you are together, fears, will it work? Will I look a fool if I try it? In time, you'll overcome that. And again, as I say, my Patreon site, I'm going to go into detailed depth of how you can test it, how you can practice it, how you can build it up. It doesn't have to be daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. You do it when you want, but you start learning how to control another's mind. But again, only think that it will work on the tatami where there's other like-minded people. It won't work on them all. If you're a positive and a negative and you know that will work, then you can make it work. And you'll know this. Okay. Most of you, as I say, 90% of the people I've ever met on the mat don't want to know about it. They think you're a weirdo. But I'm going to teach you my knowledge of many, many years of how I've been doing it. I don't do it that often because most people, even in the students, if there's 100 students lined up in front of you, perhaps only 10 of those 100 or less will think that it's actually working. They won't know how it's being done, but they think it's like some magic trick. It's not, and you can do it. But what it does is it teaches you how to be more aware, how to have better zanshin. You know, we're all got the same minds. We're all, working it out the same. Anyhow, thank you for your time. And if you look below, you can find the link to my Patreon page. And if you want to subscribe to the minimum amount, please do so. You can always unsubscribe. It's not a thing that you've got to book up forever. and let's see how we go on. Thanks for your time.